Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about why I deleted the majority of my social media platforms. So, I deleted Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I tried to delete Pinterest, but I use it for very rare occasions like dance inspiration, for your hair, your makeup. I deleted them because I felt like I was being held down by something that just wasn't worth being held down by. Because all my time was going into being on my phone. When I had a spare moment, I would pick up my phone and I would open up Instagram, go through my feed, like pictures, comment, repeat. Or I'd go to Snapchat, answer my 115 streaks, watch all the stories, probably wouldn't even pay attention to them, just tap through them just to finish them. Watch my Instagram stories, tap through them just to finish them. Go to Twitter, probably look at memes, and then I would leave. Wasn't very beneficial to my life at all. So I decided to take a leap and delete them. I tried to delete my Instagram first, and I ended up re-downloading it in like a week. I didn't make a big deal about it or anything. I just kind of changed my bio and deleted it, so no one would really notice. But I moved more over to my VSCO because I realized that the only thing that was keeping me from deleting my social media was my love to share pictures. I didn't really use social media for the social aspect in a way, because the majority of the people I'd want to be in contact with go to school with me. So I didn't really use social media for the social aspect of it, because I would see everyone at school and events, and I really just didn't like online relationships. I hate texting. I hate Snapchatting and all of that. I hate it because I like genuine conversations with people, and I like being face to face, or at least on the phone if you can't be face to face, or FaceTiming, whatever. I just hate having to type out what I want to say, because if it's sarcastic, they're not going to understand it's sarcastic, and there's just so much you can't do when you're just typing. So I deleted most of my social media because it just didn't help me be social. All I used it for was sharing my life. I didn't think that I needed all these different platforms to do one thing and just to tell people what I was doing. I was on it way too much. I didn't even care about talking to people. I just wanted everyone to know what I was doing all the time. Snapchat stories was always food or people I was with. I didn't even care about anyone else, really. It just made me very egocentric, because I was like, everyone wants to know what I'm doing all the time, but in reality, no one cares. Because everyone else has their own lives that they want everyone to know about. And it's just this whole whirlwind of egocentric minds. But I'm not saying that everyone on social media is egocentric. I was just becoming so obsessed with how I looked online that I wasn't having any genuine connections, if that makes sense. So I just kind of looked at everything that I had and tried to declutter my social tracks. So I deleted Instagram, and now I use VSCO instead of that, because VSCO is really good because you can still share as many pictures as you want, but you can't really see the stats on your pictures. There's no likes, there's no comments. It's essentially just sharing pictures with other people. And I think that's really cool. Also, when you click on someone's profile on VSCO, you don't see their followers and following. I mean, you see them, but it's not a big number that pops up right next to their name, because it just doesn't define them, and that's how Instagram is designed. It's designed to make you look at the numbers and the likes and the people that are following them. So it creates this very competitive atmosphere, instead of just sharing what you're doing and just being creative and having a creative outlet. It's just a giant competition. Same with Snapchat streaks and Snapchat scores, which I feel like people care about less now, but it's just so much. So I deleted Instagram. I didn't really use Twitter that much, so I just deleted it. And then Snapchat, that was the first one to go, because it was just so time consuming. Because first I just got rid of my notifications from Snapchat, because whenever I got a Snapchat, I had to open it and I had to respond, and it would just take away from the people that I was with, because it created this hierarchy where social media was over everyone else that I was with. So even if I was spending time with someone, I would be on my phone, which just isn't how it should be, because you should be focusing on your genuine real-life connections versus some number or some social media fiasco. And then there's the other aspect of social media where everyone's involved with everyone. Everyone hears about everything. If you do something or say something wrong on social media, there'll be screenshots even if you delete it, because it's just, you can't make mistakes on social media, because then everyone will find out and judge you for it. Then also, there's no privacy on social media, because it's just the way it's designed, especially if you're a minor. Okay, so every social media account that you open, you have to agree to a disclaimer. No one reads the disclaimer, so no one knows that when you open a Snapchat account as a minor, they're required by law to save all the pictures you send and receive, because you're a minor. So if someone was being cyberbullied or harassed on Snapchat, Snapchat's required by law to give the police all the Snapchats and videos and everything related to the incident to the police. Meaning, in order for them to be able to give it to the police, they have to save it. So everything you send on Snapchat saved to your username. So when you send stuff on Snapchat, it doesn't go away in 10 seconds or 3 seconds or 4 seconds or however many seconds you decide to put on it. Social media is just a dark black hole. But then there's also the light in social media, where you can hear about what other people are doing with their lives and see how you can adjust your life to live happier. And I use social media for that sometimes, but just not enough, because I would get distracted by pictures. Oh, and especially the idea of creating a perfect image. On social media, everyone creates the image they want everyone to see of them. They could do whatever they want to make you think that they're a certain person, even if they're not. So when you go on Instagram and you see all these models and all these perfect, like, bikini pics or whatever, it's most likely edited in some way. And people just don't see it as that. They see it as a candid picture that has no editing on it, and they just assume that that's how the person looks. And it creates this false image that people are perfect when they're not. Because you can't see what goes on behind the camera, and you can't see what the person looks like behind the camera. The only person you can see behind the camera the entire time is you. So when you're seeing all these other people living perfect lives, and you're seeing yourself living in reality, it creates this mindset where everyone else is doing better than you, and everyone else is just in a way better than you, and you're not. But it's just because you don't see the whole story in everyone else. So I feel like social media plays a role in that, because it makes it harder to realize that everyone has things they go through, and everyone has hardships, but no one really talks about that on social media. You live in reality, and when you go on social media, it's a utopia of bikini pics and traveling and memes. That's essentially why I deleted social media, because it was just messing with my mind too much, and it was taking away from things I could be doing, like having a genuine conversation with people. Probably the only social media-ish types of things that I use now. Visco to share my pictures. I'll link it below if you want it. Spotify to listen to music. Facebook to see the embarrassing pictures my mom posts to me and the weird captions she adds onto them. Pinterest occasionally for dress ideas or makeup ideas or meal planning, you know. And I use the Apple Podcast. Those are amazing. I'll link 2 of my favorite ones down below. Happier by Gretchen. She's the author. She also wrote The Happiness Project, which I want to read. And The Minimalist by The Minimalist. I like listening to them because it helps me center myself, and it helps bring me to reality, and it helps me find a way to look at things in a positive light. So, essentially, I had probably 5 social media platforms that I deleted. I had Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I hope that's it.
You deleted Twitter?
Yeah.
I've been sending you stuff.
Oh.
That's funny.
So, that's essentially all I wanted to talk about. I tried to keep it as condensed as I could without getting on a super long rant that would last 2 hours. If you want my Spotify or Visco or Pinterest, I'll link them down below. And I'll also link the podcast I like to listen to down below. Alright, goodbye. Catch you on the flip side. Woo!